This episode of Like a Bad Neighbor Pod is brought to you by Tullamore Dew Whiskey. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have any sponsors yet, but welcome back to episode 5 of the Like a Bad Neighbor Pod. This is Mike, and I'm with my co-host Justin. How you doing, buddy? It's the new year.
Ooh, new year, same old Jets.
I don't even know if you can call them the same old Jets at this point. It's just a worse version of the Jets we've ever
I,
seen.
dude, I'm going through it. I'm going through it, and there's just so many. It's like an onion, dude. It's you're peeling off the layers of this, and as we're going through it, it's just it
It
gets
just
worse and
gets more
worse.
stinkier and it makes your eyes burn. The more you dig into this onion, man, it's so bad. It's so bad. I mean,
I'm
we broke a
laughing. I'm
record.
laughing because I'm out of tears.
Yeah,
Like that's really how I feel about this team right now. But
we hired a first time coach, right? Came from the Detroit Lions. He's a player in his own right. 41 interceptions in his lifetime. Couldn't string together one interception on his team that he runs now. It's and we set a record.
we
17
made
straight games.
history. We made history. We're
No
on the wrong side of
interceptions.
history now for all of eternity because there's not a single team I feel like in football from since 1933 and I think probably forever that will not have an even dude just one of those like little deflections off the line.
Yeah,
Did you see what happened in that like Steelers Ravens game? Like even just some stupid thing where it literally pops into a defender's hands. That happens at least once a season. It's almost
yeah,
every single team. How did
yeah.
this not happen?
Just a pop up deflection, and then like a linebacker comes down with it or something. Like
Or
something.
like the quarterback completely just misses, like he's so locked in on like a read that he doesn't even notice the guy like behind him. Like dude, like a Madden interception. We can't even get a Madden interception
Yeah.
in real life. It's dude. Oh my
For the
god, it's so
NFL, for
painful.
the NFL to put that Bills Jets game at the 425 slot just to stick it in our face to extend that season just a little bit longer by a couple of hours was very cruel by the NFL. So screw you,
It
Roger McDowell.
dude, Mike, that was one of the worst things I've ever had to watch as a Jets fan in my life. To watch Mitch Trubisky pump 35 points down your throat is one of the most disgusting things I think I've ever seen as a Jets fan. And they rolled over and they just rolled over and died. They just took it.
It's incredible. What were we outscored in the last 5 games? It was like 168 to like 20. I'm just spitballing it here, but it's we're being outscored by the last 5 games in historic fashion.
Oh,
It's incredible. We're
no,
not even averaging like 10 points a game. Um,
it's agonizing. And once again, I mean, there's so many different things that we could kind of and we have plenty of time to do it in the, now that the season's over. But I mean, remember when Aaron Glenn first got his press conference and said this is going to be a team that Jets fans can be
can
proud
be
of?
proud of. Yeah, not much to be proud of at all. Like what the question that's been circulating all throughout the media the past day and a half is what has he done good? I feel like the only answer to that question is he we haven't had a blocked punt all season long. So shout out to the special teams, Chris Banjo, keep doing your thing. Um, yeah. Other than that, you could chalk it up to nothing.
Here's my other issue with this, right? So congratulations, we got the second overall pick. And
Yeah.
already two things that we've heard in the media already come out. The greatest of all time analyst Todd McShay, who please is just so that you understand was pretty tight with Joe Douglas. So maybe he's got a
Yes.
little bit more of vitriol to kind of like stick it to the Jets right now because of the way we let JD go. But you telling Dante Moore stay in school, you do not want to go to a Jet. The only people that want to go to Jets are like maybe former players or like people that are just lucky to make it to the NFL. I mean, that's dude.
I'm sorry, Todd, but the way the draft works is if there's a highly touted QB, on that draft day, the worst teams in the league are going to draft them.
Well,
Like, the
Here's an
Jets are
interesting
historically bad. We get it.
here's
But
an
there are
interesting
other teams that are surprisingly, the Raiders, I feel, in my heart of hearts, are in a worse position than the Jets. Even if they go after Mendoza, I think they're still in a worse spot.
I think you're right about personnel. Personnel, there's nothing I feel like the Raiders have right now, other than Genty. I mean, and listen,
That's it.
Genty's a talent. I'm not, and you want to know what?
And
I'm
you have
sorry,
Bowers.
and Bowers. I was going to say that. Yes. So they have two playmaking, guys that are on that team that can help out that offense. But forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't think their line is any good whatsoever.
The line is
And
horrible.
and
The,
the one thing they have right now, the guy that's supposedly calling the shots or is having the most influence is Tom Brady,
the,
our old pal. So
yeah.
in that regard, I can see how that would be an attractive place. It's like, listen, I get to learn from Tom Brady. If there's something out there where I'm doing something wrong that he notices in practice or whatever, he's going to let me know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just hope that he's the same way that Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky were, these all-time greats that when they tried to step into a different role, they were in way over their head, and they have this innate sense of how to see the field or how to play the game that can only translate to themselves and not to others. But that all said, dude, like the
You have a
Jets,
lot of
you
stuff
you
behind the
think
scenes
you
wrong with
think
them. You have 50 million in salary that you're spending on coaches that you are paying to not coach there anymore. Like it starts with Gruden. You go to the other people like Antonio Pierce. He's getting money next year. It's just they just go through coaches like that. It's insane.
I don't think it's any better. I don't think that situation is any better. Like I said, from the personnel perspective, I don't necessarily think that's any better. But how you go ahead and once again, and you kind of alluded to this a little bit, but like if you're picking in the top five, you're a very, very bad football team.
Yeah.
And if you're a young guy coming out of college and you have the opportunity to get picked first or second overall, and you're going to forego that to go back. And now I understand you get NIL money. I understand college is fun, but you may never. Who knows? Like all of these,
You
they
could
were supposed to be
you could
3 or 4
suffer a huge
quarterbacks.
setback, man, and never make it to the NFL with a huge injury. Yeah, you'll make $10 million next year, Dante Moore. I get it. You'd probably be the talk of the whole league next year. But are you going to risk another year, to forego the NFL? What if something happens to him? How do you not take that opportunity to go into the draft?
Well,
Like,
just ask, like Drew Aller, ask Cade Klubnik, ask Nussmeier, what they would have done if they would have done it all over again. And I bet you a couple of them might have came out last year.
yep,
You can have a bad season, you can regress, you can get hurt.
yep.
Um, so just because you think that the Jets, and listen, let's look at the positives today. Let's for a second, just for a second. You have a bona fide number one receiver in Garrett Wilson.
Mhm.
You have a line that can block for you and could even potentially get better with maybe like one free agent signing, or if we bring back Vera Tucker or whatever.
Mhm.
You got, as of right now, Brees Hall on the roster, but still two really, really good running backs. Don't forget Braylon Allen. And
He's going to
Isaiah
be coming
Davis
off
is
an
is
injury.
and look at all these other teams. Like look at the like the leading rushers for Arizona, where our third and fourth string guys. Like we
Mhm.
let go of Michael Carter, we let go of Bam Knight. Like
Ty
those were guys
Johnson
that
on
were
the
on our
Bills,
roster.
like he's doing his thing on the Bills. Like,
Tyler John, exactly. So like the one thing Jets seem to do is they actually seem to develop decent running backs.
yeah,
Now that we're thinking about it.
mhm.
But you have pieces on this offense. You have an emerging tight end in Mason Taylor, who I think could be not, I don't want to say an all pro, but he could be a more than serviceable high end tight end in this league.
Mhm.
So, and best part, look at all the draft capital that they're going to have over the next 2 years.
Yeah,
What do we have? We have a combined. We'll have a combined like 9 first and second rounders in the next 2 years.
yeah, it's a good problem to have.
and all the salary cap. I think we have the third most salary cap space. And for the record, and shout out to cousin Rylan for pointing this out, we're the only franchise that's picking, I believe, in the top 7 that didn't fire their head coach.
Interesting.
You could look that up. All the other teams that are in like the bottom 7 of the league right now, I believe, have already fired their head coaches or fired them during the season.
Now, I'm still a proponent of Aaron Glenn staying next year. I don't think. Yes, he did a lot this year to warrant a one and done, but I just. And now he picked his quarterback, Justin Fields. It didn't work out. He probably went to Muji and was like, "Hey, this season was a wash anyway. Throw Tyrod in for a couple of games, and then we're going to finish out with Brady Cook because we have no other choice." Like Justin Fields, whatever. It didn't work out. That's on him and Muji, right? I think you put an actual quarterback on the team. Let's see what he can do next year. Um, we need somebody who can develop a quarterback. I mean, you look at teams like the Jaguars, right? They got Liam Cohen coming off the Bucks last year. Um, Now with the Bucks, unfortunate situation. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But he came from the Bucks, where they won a division title, 10-7. That was probably the most impressive year for the Bucks in the last 5 years, because each year they won the division 9-8, 8-9, all that stuff. Liam Cohen, first year coach on the Jaguars, he reversed that Jaguars team from a 4-13 record last year to a 13-4. And not a lot of people know this, Justin, but he went there by himself. He couldn't take anybody on his staff with the Bucks. He did it all by himself. That guy, we need somebody with an offensive oriented mind like that can pair with Glenn, man.
Well, you said it best already. Um, but I'll just piggyback off of that a little bit by saying there's nothing Aaron Glenn has done that I can say warrants our trust in him to develop a quarterback. Now,
Right.
one thing that I will say in defense of Tanner Eggstrom is that he was the quarterback's coach in Detroit. And you look at what Jared Goff did this past season and wasn't quite as good statistically as he was the year before. So if you were telling me this guy can develop a quarterback, I have the utmost confidence that he can. To me, that's more important than if you get a young quarterback on your roster than even calling the plays or, overall how this offense looks. But I did not expect any magic to happen with Brady freaking Cook. Like, um, that said, I think that their team would have been more competitive. It seemed like they just had a total tank job the last several games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But to
It's
me, it
one thing.
also.
It's
Go
one
ahead.
thing that it's one thing to tank. At least look like you're giving a shit, right? Like, or trying for that matter. Can
Well,
you
Mike,
try to keep it within 2 to 3 scores? Like,
do you think that this team was best served starting Brady Cook, or when Tyrod Taylor or even Justin Fields was healthy again, they would have been a better team with those two guys operating at quarterback?
yeah, I do. Tyrod overall them, but yeah.
Well, he was the better passer. I think Justin Fields could move the ball, but it was with his feet. He wasn't even throwing over 100 yards a game. We
Yeah.
beat that horse dead. But but no, seriously, like it's just so now you kind of said it. Like, what's the answer? If you think you truly do have the guys in the room already that can help a young quarterback develop, right? You're not replacing the OC.
I mean, I think you almost have to actually. You have to bring in another guy.
And now who's that guy going to be though?
Hmm.
Is is
I
that
mean,
Cliff
maybe Matt
Kingsbury?
Nagy. Maybe Matt Nagy. You would think with the way the Chiefs organization is right now, he might want out. Kelsey's retiring. Who knows if Patrick Mahomes is going to be available even at all next year? Might be a good target for him. Tanner Engstrom. I mean, I wasn't impressed at all with this play scheme. I thought they were going to involve Brees in the passing game a lot more. because they talked about it a lot too, especially Aaron Glenn in the beginning of the season. He only had like 400 receiving yards, like total for the entire year.
Yeah, not a lot. And he
So
can catch the ball. He
yeah,
really can. He I think that's a very underutilized ability that we never tapped into
mhm,
that much over, so far in his career. But listen, he's likely going somewhere else anyway, I would imagine this offseason.
yeah,
So
tough
isn't
spot.
it just agonizing to
Do
be a
you?
Jet fan, dude?
Yeah, dude, I was like in my feelings Sunday. I was depressed that the season's over. We didn't even put up a fighter's chance in the last 5 games. I found. Do you ever find yourself just like randomly just taking a drive to like your old street address where you grew up at? You ever just take a drive like one of those type
I
of
mean, my
deals?
parents still live there, so I
Ah,
get to see it a lot. But to take the trip down memory lane, yeah, I went like I used to live out in Nassau County, and I would literally I drove by my original house that I was basically born in.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was feeling a little nostalgia yesterday just because I knew the season was ending. I wanted something to look at just from like a nostalgic point of view, just to lift my spirits a little bit. I took a drive by my old house in Suffolk County that I grew up in, and I watched a bunch of highlights from the 2009 2010 season, and it's just like, man, it feels like a whole lifetime ago. Like we were so good 15 years ago. It's a shame we didn't go all the way, but it was nice to like take a step back and see what an awesome team we had at one point. And it wasn't very many teams we had over the past 50, 60 years, however long this franchise has been in the league. But
yeah,
man,
15 since since we've made the playoffs. I will say this though. I mean, another team that is a bit misleading too, because like if you didn't win a playoff game but you made the playoffs, like congratulations. I'm so happy you limped into the playoffs and got knocked out in week 1. Like at least we had back-to-back AFC championship runs when we did go.
yeah,
So those are really good. Those were really, really good teams with really, really good defenses. That,
such a good
but
running game too. You had Sean Green and Ladainian Tomlinson. That 1-2 punch, man, underrated. We had great receivers like Holmes and Braylon Allen and Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes and Cotchery. Those guys were definitely the foundation to the offense. But
even that one year that they almost made the playoffs with Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, man,
yeah,
that was a fun little run with Fitz Magic.
mhm,
So I mean, the city responds when the Jets are playing well and are making a playoff push. Same thing goes with the Giants. It's just it's been so bad for New York football. Um, and I'm sorry, as much as I'd like to tip my cap, I do tip my cap to the Bills. Like Buffalo just seems like it's a different territory. Like it does not feel like it's in the state of New York. I know they're the only team that technically plays in New York. You
yeah,
don't need to jump down my throat on that one, but it's upstate's upstate, downstate's downstate,
dude. The,
and
the past 2 games playing against the Patriots, who might just win it all this year under Mike Vrabel, first time head coach, and playing against the Bills, it feels like we don't even deserve to be in that division right now. Could we actually go out and beat a Division 3 team, like legitimately, in
can,
college? Like,
that I think we could do.
I
That
hope
that I
so.
think we could pull off. Maybe if we had to beat Appalachian State, I think we'd be able to pull it together. But feel like some of these guys were pulled right over their roster, um, like especially at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I feel like
they're
just
throwing
warm
so many
bodies.
guys I've
Any
never
warm
heard
body
of.
could play in the. You and I should have been able to play on defense.
Yeah,
Like
God, they just threw in so many practice squad players, guys they signed like 2 weeks ago. Like, what are they doing? Just I know they want to get looks in, but like, what's the
that's
point?
a tank job. That's part of the tank. That's
Yeah,
definitely part of a tank. I can't. You can't convince me otherwise. Can I just? Did you hear what Woody said after the game about the
no,
fans specifically?
no,
Basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but true Jet fans know what's going on with this team.
okay,
That was his like pat on the back to us. I feel like the biggest sucker on the planet for even showing an interest in this team. What do I know? What in the no? What do I know?
I'll
Please
tell you
tell
what
me
I
what I
know.
know. What,
I'll
what
tell you what I know.
I have eyes. I can see what's going on. What's going on behind the scenes that I'm not aware of, Woody?
Well, I'll tell you what I know is you're putting together a terrible roster, a terrible regime, and you're raising ticket prices even though you haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. At least you have owners like James Dolan who have outright said to the fans, who by the way, he made an appearance on Craig Carton's new show on WFAN. Shout out Craig Carton. Glad you're back on the program. But you have guys like James Dolan who outright said in the media, "We are not raising ticket prices if we don't make the playoffs," and that's the way Woody should be. I mean, that's not right, man. 16% next year. I
Even
don't
if
know
he
how you
didn't,
people still go to games. It's incredible to me.
even if he didn't, it's kind of like, well, the revenue's still going to come in from the TV deals too, suckers. Like it's just, he's such a bad owner. And the one thing that I feel like just continues to, and you want to listen. When I say that, this I don't have any qualms against Woody Johnson whatsoever. Like I'll use a Band-Aid, I'll use some hydrogen peroxide, some Vaseline, whatever it is. I know he owns like every pharmaceutical like brand on the planet. And this is not a shot at Woody Johnson the person,
Hmm.
but just he cares so much, I feel like, about winning the headline, regardless of whatever the publicity is, that like have the backbone to show some stability. I'm almost happy. Like if they actually did fire Aaron Glenn, even though this is the thing, this is the agony of it. I feel like Glenn didn't do enough to deserve a second year. But if you fire him, just the optics of the situation at this moment in time, that position looks like so like nuclear.
Yeah.
It looks so nuclear if you fire him after one season. The only way that would work is if you had a Vrabel waiting in the wings,
You know what's
like an
insane?
established guy.
I was just curious, just because people calling for Aaron Glenn's job after the first year is ridiculous in this situation specifically. Because I don't know if I just found this out. I didn't know Glenn was signed to a 5-year deal, 10 mil per year. You're not firing this guy. You're not the Raiders. like,
That's a lot of money to owe to a guy that's a year into his tenure. But the other piece to that kind of puzzle is like there is no other veteran I feel like that would want to take this job over. I really don't. And as sad as it is to say, so here's my biggest gripe
you
with
mean
Glenn
an
right now.
established head coach, not a first
Yes.
year guy? Okay.
Yes, well, I need an established head coach. If you're going to bring another guy in, I need an established head coach that knows how to develop a young quarterback. So if that's Mike McCarthy, if that's
Kevin
Cliff
Stefanski?
Kingsbury, if that's Stefanski, but would you, if you were any three of those guys, do you want the Jets job? Would you even want it?
Uh, it would be hard to say yes.
Especially after firing Aaron Glenn to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's the other piece. And the thing I was going to say about Glenn is as much as we knew this was a rebuilding year, as much as we knew that there was not a very high expectation at all for this team to be, competitive. Generally, when rookie head coaches come in, they have to learn the ropes. They take their lumps. Generally, their teams start to get a little bit better. You start to see
Yeah.
results towards the end of the season. You see something to build on. The problem is it just got worse.
I wouldn't even say this year was even a rebuilding year. We had some guys. We had some really talented pieces on this squad that you could build around. But you know what
You
annoys
traded
me,
two of
dude?
them away.
Yes. But let's say this. There's a lot of people on social media who are saying who watched probably their first Steelers game of the year, right, against the Ravens. They're saying, "Oh, look at the Jets. They didn't sign Aaron Rodgers. Imagine, he's making it. What did they finish with? Like a 10-7 record. Um, they're saying they're making fun of the Jets for not retaining Aaron Rodgers and unceremoniously letting him go in the way they did. But think about the Jets situation had we kept him, right? what would we win? Like 6, 7 games at most? And we're keeping Sauce? Because under Aaron Rodgers, we're not getting rid of Q or Sauce. So,
No,
if
you
anything, we'd probably be in a worse spot than we are now.
well, you wouldn't have as high of a draft pick, but you might feel
Yeah.
a little bit better about the team overall, just record wise. But I understand what you're saying. You have an old aging quarterback, a roster that's not achieving what you would want it to achieve because you would want Aaron Rodgers to be competing, if not getting a playoff spot
Right.
for sure. And you're right. I feel like this team was a lot further away than even a quarterback. Now, I understand quarterback's the most important position on the field. We all know it. Can it erase a lot of deficiencies on a team if you just have a brilliant quarterback? I mean, look, Chiefs almost made the playoffs, and honestly, that was the first like non-playoff contending roster that the Chiefs have had. I feel like in Patrick Mahomes' complete tenure with the team. So, eventually certain things are going to catch up to you between injuries and losing Rasheed Rice. We don't need to get into that, but Patrick Mahomes still almost got them there.
You know what's crazy? I think I saw some post the other day. It said this is going to be the first year in like the last 16 years where the AFC Championship won't feature a Tom Brady, a Patrick Mahomes, or a Mark Sanchez. Isn't that crazy?
A Mark Sanchez, we threw him in the mix
Yeah,
too.
you got him.
Oh my god.
It's kind of a crazy stat.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, dude. I just feel like it's gloom and doom right now. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more positive news in the next couple of weeks and they'll sort a few things out. But dude, it's just not looking good right now.
Yep.
It's just not. If you're a Jet season ticket holder right now, I'm
I
not
tip my
re-upping.
cap to you. I respect your loyalty, but that's a hard thing to do, man.
Ugh, just no bueno. Absolutely no bueno. Just brutal, 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 brutal.
Yep.
But what else can be said about that? Um, speaking of brutal,
What?
you want to talk Knicks? You want to talk the Knicks after last night's performance?
Okay, so we are in the midst of a 4 game losing streak. First tough hurdle we've had to endure this season under the new coach of Mike Brown. Couple of things stood out to me the last few games, specifically against the Pistons, the Spurs. We are just getting bitched around in the paint. We need, if anything, everybody's talking about trade this guy, trade that. We need a power forward or another center to protect the paint. It's so I did the math before you got on live with me. We're being out in the last 5 games. We're 1-4. The last 5 games, we are getting outscored in the paint 268 to 191. That's not good. Teams are just having their way in the paint. We are just a soft team without Josh Hart. It is so essential for us to have him healthy going down the stretch and into the playoffs. And you look at a guy like him, 6'4". He's small, but he's got height. He's got hops. He's the hustle guy, goes for all the 50-50 balls. He's always in the right spot in the right time. We don't have another guy like that in the roster. And I'll tell you who I think we should go after in the trade deadline, okay? There's a few guys on my list. I have Nick Richards on the Sun, Daniel Gafford. He's probably my number one from the Mavericks. It really depends on how this team is going to be by the trade deadline. You got to look at their record. If they're going to make the playoffs or on track to make the playoffs, he's probably out of that trading block. But man, we need him like a Sadiq Bey. Actually, I don't even want to throw Sadiq Bey in. If you look at his stats over the past 15 games, it's not been good. I feel like a lot of you people obsess over this guy on the Pelicans because he has one of the most crispy jump shots in NBA 2K25 and 2K26 for the big men. And I have it on my big. Don't get me wrong. He's got a great jump shot. It's not translating in real life in this season. He's missing a ton of shots. He's got presence down low. Like, he has shot blocking ability. But I think we'd be better suited with a guy like a Daniel Gafford. We need size. I mean, and you got guys right now like Gershon Yabusele, who's been just an utter disappointment so far. He just hasn't found his rhythm. You have guys like Diawara who shine in little spots here and there, but I mean, he just can't get like sustained minutes. Kevin McCullough had a really good game that first game that he substituted for Josh Hart, but he's kind of taken a dip. I don't know. It's just
My biggest two takeaways from that Detroit game yesterday, and listen, if you want to figure out a formula on how to stop Jalen Brunson or at least limit his abilities as best as you can, watch that game.
yeah,
They were physical with him. They pressed him on the ball. He had 6 turnovers
yeah, bad
and
one.
0 assists.
That is a recipe for disaster. You could score 25 points, but if you're not facilitating the office and getting your teammates involved, it's almost like for nothing, right?
That that
Yeah.
was the first time in his career that I think he had 0 assists,
You
like
could
as a
tell.
starter.
I was texting you last night. You could tell Asar Thompson. You could tell that was his get back game for the series that happened in the playoffs where they got bounced.
Well,
He
Stewart
must
too.
Stewart too. You had guys like Asar Thompson take that series personal. You could tell he's been in the lab like studying Brunson's every move. He had 2 on-ball steals on him that Brunson had no chance of getting by him. Like the guy has length. He's obviously one of the top defenders in the league right now. And you pair him with an Isaiah Stewart, who, by the way, wasn't in that series last year. Him, Stewart, and Green, Javante Green, and Paul Reed, of all people. I don't. He didn't play that much in the series last year. They just shut down Carl Anthony Towns. Like they made him look elementary out there. It's historically bad of a game that Cat had. What he had 6 points. He was a -27.
Yeah,
Talk
it
about
was
lockdown defense.
it was ugly. It was ugly. I think, believe it or not, I think the Knicks actually shot the 3 ball pretty well, and that if they hadn't, that game would have been even more out of hand than it was. That could have been like a 40 point blowout or even more. And listen, Detroit. You listen to the comments that the players made after the game in interviews, and you saw Cade Cunningham basically say this meant more than just a regular game. We've been looking forward and circling that matchup, so you knew they were going to come, um,
They shot
and come at them
51.6
hard.
from three. Not only their lockdown defense in the paint, they were shooting really good from three. 16 of 31 as a team. The Knicks were kind of right there with them, 43.3%, 13 of
Look,
30. But that's
it's
all they had. Like you said, that's the only thing that kind of kept it close for the most
it,
part.
it seemed like they
Well,
were getting
once again,
bullied though. Like it seemed like they were doing what the Knicks like to do with Mitch. Like even after Detroit was missing shots on possessions, they were getting tip outs. The Knicks were trying to rebound the ball unsuccessfully, and they were getting so many second chance opportunities. It seemed like every trip
yeah.
they made down the court,
They
they were
outboarded the
scoring.
crap out of us. They outboarded us 44 to 30, and their points off turnovers, the Pistons, 33 to our 10. That's right there, the game right there. Those two stats stand out the most to me.
Yeah.
Um, I gotta ask you, man. Do you think after a game like that, do we hit the panic button?
Look, even after losing what 4 straight, it's
Yeah,
been 4 or 5 straight,
or
4 straight. So even after that, right? There's still plenty of season left. I do think that there will be a move made at some point. I don't know who that will be. I don't know what level of a trade that will be, but I don't think that this roster is completely solidified yet. Could be wrong, but I think we'll bring in another player. And I personally think it's going to be more of a role player, like you said,
yeah.
more of a center, more of a big. But no, I'm not panicking yet. If they were completely like free falling and you were just seeing the effort was not there, then
That's the thing, though. I think the effort's been taking a drop the past 4 games. Something about the team looks definitely off. I feel like Rick Brunson made a comment during that. It was right after the half, right? He made some sort of comment like to the reporter, the sideline reporter. He he didn't outright say it, but he said something like, "My guys aren't like they're frustrated. They're not getting the ball. I feel like they're not passing the ball, moving the ball the way they want to. I feel like, just because like you got guys like Anunoby, 5 points last night, -31. They're not getting him the ball. Cat was just completely shut down. I have to ask you this: like, do you think Cat is the long-term answer? In the like when it comes down to important games, playoff-like games, could you trust him to go out there and win a series for you alongside with Brunson?
I mean, look at what he single-handedly basically did against that game against Indiana last year. Like he yes, he can. He definitely can. Now, overall in the history of him of all of his playoff appearances, do do I think he can fade away? Absolutely. Can you phase him out of the game? Can you put a lid
Yes.
on a guy like that? Yes, you 100%
You
can.
bait him into committing those two offensive fouls in the first half, and right like that, I feel like his game just changes. Like there's something that in his head like shuts him down as far as being aggressive. Like this,
And he can be a little bit like I don't want to say moody because that's not the best word,
he
but
gets definitely too verbal with the refs.
yes,
Let's
that's
call
what
a
I was
spade a
going to
spade.
say. A,
You
a
know.
bad call doesn't go his way, and now all of a sudden, how many possessions does it kind of take him to clear his head and just move forward with that? He's a heady player. That's a fair thing to say, I think.
You hear Mike
And
Breen on the broadcast bring it up all the time. Carl Anthony Towns needs to stop talking about the ref and do this. Like he brings it up like once every other game. Like
now, does he get hacked a lot? Yeah.
yes,
Yes, he does. I'm not even questioning that. The man, he's a big man. He drives the paint. He absorbs a lot of contact, and there's definitely fouls that the refs miss 100%. But you played like this your entire career at this point. You should know what's coming at you at this point, and you should learn or you should be able to deal with it, especially being a New York man. You know what he knows what it's all about, and that's the reason why I want to give him the opportunity to figure this thing out. I do, I do. At the end of the day, believe that Cat can be the answer for this team.
trust me, I'm
He's
rooting for him, bro. I am. But if you're looking at the scale in my mind, I'm leaning like 60-40 at this point, where I'm like, man, if they just dish him and Bridges in a trade for Giannis, I wouldn't be that mad about it. Not gonna lie.
I, I wouldn't be mad if they made that trade, but at the end of the day, I do I wish when you have a homegrown guy, it's kind of like I feel I don't know. I never even asked you how you felt about when Donovan Mitchell could have been a potential option. Did you want to bring the New York kid back home? There's something to be said about that local guy that now gets to play for the hometown team again. That he gets it. He knows how important a championship would be to New York.
Yeah, I think about that all the time, actually. But then I take a step back and I think to myself, hey, if we didn't throw away all these draft picks, we wouldn't have gotten quickly. We wouldn't have gotten R.J. Barrett to actually turn in a player like OG. We wouldn't have gotten OG if we traded for Donovan Mitchell. You know, I'm okay with not getting him. After the fact, but I did want him. But I just felt like they were asking for too much for him. Um, yeah, you imagine if that trade actually went down the landscape of this team. What would they look like today? Kind of crazy to think about.
Listen, it would be interesting, right? I don't. Would you even have Brunson on the team then at that point? Because it
Probably
seems
not.
like that's a ball dominant player in Donovan Mitchell.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, do I think guys like that are that talented can figure out a way to make it work? Yes, but then again, there was what now I'm really going back. I have to remember who did they pair Steve Francis up with? Was that Marbury?
Yeah.
Marbury and Francis?
Yeah.
That didn't work out very well.
Alrighty. So I haven't had to pull this shirt out in years. Mind you, I got this shirt 10 or 11 years ago from Barstool Sports. I think today was appropriate. It's been a long time since I've worn this shirt, but I think after the 4-game slide, we got to show it, man. I'm going to put this away now. Hopefully I don't have to bring it out for the rest of the season, okay?
Okay. Well, that could go either way. You might drink in celebration of, all of these amazing feats that they
I got that during the Phil Jackson era, man. One of the worst spots in our long tenured franchise.
Dude, we've had some bad ones, but yeah, Phil Jackson. Hey, at least you got Kristaps out of Phil Jackson.
Yes.
It's just been barren.
Let's take a look at the Knicks' schedule coming up, right? So
okay.
You got the Clippers at a home game tomorrow night, and then they go on a West Coast trip. They're going to be playing the Suns on Friday, January 9th, the Trailblazers, January 11th, the Kings, Wednesday the 14th, Warriors, the 15th, so it's a back-to-back, and then back at home against the Suns. So I feel like the schedule is going to loosen up a little bit. They got to win a bunch of these games.
I would be happy with a 500 road trip. What was it, 5 games or 6?
It is 1, 2, 3, a 4-game West Coast road trip.
The 4-game, okay. So if you went 500 on that, I think I'd be happy. It's just a step, it's a step in the right direction. To me, just you could play 500 ball right now, on that road trip, and I feel like I'd be happy with that. You can't go 1-3, or I feel like 0-4. That would be pretty bad. Yeah. But no, I think for the most part, listen, you're going to go through stretches of the season where you're not going to be playing your best basketball. Every team has to deal with it. So I'd rather them go through this rough patch now and really gear up and make a nice postseason push. It's nice seeing McCullough get a little bit of burn. It's nice seeing Kolek continue to play pretty well. Clarkson had a couple of nice minutes last night, if we're looking at silver linings.
Mm-hmm.
And Deuce, I don't know why. Even during the broadcast, they alluded to it. But why isn't Deuce McBride in there with the starters?
He should be. I mean, especially with Josh Hart out. I'm not crazy about this double big lineup as I was before, starting Mitchell Robinson and Cat together. Put Deuce in there, man. He's been automatic from 3. He's shooting like almost 50% from 3. He's a top 15 3-point shooter this year in the entire league. Deuce, the guy making like $5 million a year. It's a good story to see. I hope they invite him to the 3-point contest. That'd be nice to see.
I don't know if he'll have the volume, the actual makes. But listen, I certainly think it would be fun to watch him. That would be fun. Maybe him and Brunson for all we know.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that would be good. Can we just very for a second just talk about like how we had to watch that game on the cock last night? No, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not even trying to go there. Like it's starting to get a little crazy with these streaming services, and how like if I wanted to watch every single Knicks game, I'd have to subscribe to how many different streaming services between Amazon, cable, and Peacock. It's not even on regular TV. It has to be done on Peacock.
It's backed by ABC. Just put the game on ABC, for crying out loud. It's a
No, that would interrupt
night.
Dancing with the Stars or some other nonsense.
Hey, although, silver lining, you talk about silver linings, you get to watch my girl Ashley Shahamadi, sideline reporter. The girl's a rocket. I'll pay for a Peacock subscription just to watch her talk all day long. That's just me. Anyways.
Did they, and I don't know what capacity he was in, but did you see how they were teasing Snoop Dogg, like, during the broadcast for the late game?
The
like
Warriors
he was gonna,
game?
Yeah.
I didn't see much of that. I only saw a clip of when Steve Kerr got ejected and he started like talking about how gangster he was, something like that. Kind of a
No,
wild scene.
but they were during the Knicks and the Detroit broadcast. And I listen, I'm
Oh,
guilty.
okay.
I did not stay up to watch that late night game,
Me neither.
the West Coast game. But they were talking about. I don't know if Snoop was actually going to be. He was part of the broadcast. Like, and listen, all credit. Like, dude's entertaining. I'm not going to take anything away from him, but it just, to me, like, this is what we're resorting to try and get people involved. Like, is
Where's
this like
Mello?
going to be a
Where's
thing?
Mello? Wasn't he supposed to be on this like broadcasting team for ABC Peacock? Like I would have preferred to watch him like analyze these games, but I don't know where he's at. But
Yeah, no, dude, and some of these broadcasts, like, teams, like the people that they have, like, as analysts, or like, listen, I'm not going to mention anyone by name because that's just cruel, but, like, dude, like, some of these streaming services, like, give me a break. Like, please, please, did anyone vet these people before you decided to put them on the air?
you could
Like,
tell the NBA is just trying shit right now to boost their ratings. You know, bringing in a guy like Snoop Dogg for a segment. I get it. You know,
just throw it against the wall, dude.
yeah.
Just throw it against the wall.
But it's a
Oh,
risky thing doing that, you know, because you could fall flat on your face and people just, you know, NBA, NFL fans will look at it and be like, this is why they don't get any views, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know, man.
hey, let's get Post Malone in here to, do play by play.
Yeah. A guy that's watched maybe like 3 basketball games in his life, they'll bring somebody like that in. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, these streaming services are a joke. But
Yeah, man. Nah, it's just absolutely, like, and that's, to me, why am I paying all this money to, like, a cable company if I can't even get all the games on it? Like, I'm not. Listen, different discussion for a different day.
yeah,
But oh, oh,
yeah. So just want to go back to football a little bit, just because this kind of centers around the Jets a little bit. Todd Bowles, um, he got bounced from the playoffs this year. Um, they went out on top though. The Bucks beat the Panthers. They played the Panthers 2 out of 3 their last 3 games. They ended up beating them to tie for that division, and it all came down to the Saints and Falcons game. The Falcons ended up beating the Saints, thus eliminating the Bucks in disappointing fashion. So now Todd Bowles is he's kind of on the hot seat. Interesting to see if they're going to retain him. I will say this though, because I have a small rooting interest in this team. They got to strip his play calling duties on defense and bring in another offensive guy, because the offensive coordinator they have right now, I mean, he can't even like hold a stone to Liam Cohen from last year.
they
Yeah.
they listen. I'll say this, just based on what I did watch of them this season, which I will, by admission, is not a whole lot. But it seemed like Baker was playing MVP, like an MVP early in the season.
Mhm.
They suffered a lot of injuries.
He did.
Evans missed time, Egbuka missed time, Godwin, I think Godwin missed time, Bucky Irving missed time. It's hard to get into a rhythm when you don't have all of your pieces. Did they even have a game where they had all of their pieces? Like, did
Tough
did
to say.
did this past week, did they have them all? Like, was that like the first time? And didn't they lose Wirfs? Didn't they
Tristan
lose their
Wirfs
best
came
lineman?
for a portion of the season, yeah, but he did come back late in the season.
It's tough to win like that.
You
It's
have a
it's
couple of solid guys. Well, I mean, you got Levante David, who's been in the league for how long now? I think he played with Rondé Barber. Like he first came in the league. I think this is going to be his last year. He's probably retiring. Great player. Tough to see him go out like that. I would have liked to see him play another playoff game for them, but you got Wirfs too. You have a terrible secondary. They definitely need to improve there. Um, I was looking at some of the reports. I feel like the players definitely don't. Or they're just not clicking with Todd Bowles. I think he's too set in his old ways. He's kind of like the Tibbs version of the NFL, where they do too many walkthroughs. And And I feel like players don't like that. I feel like if they do too many walkthroughs in practice and they're giving a lot of days off, like in the beginning of the week, that kind of rubs the players the wrong way, from what I've seen. So it's going to be very interesting just because, like, he had his exit interview with the media, and usually he wears, like, Bucks attire, right? Like, sweatshirt, hoodies, every freaking game. He wasn't wearing any Bucks attire, and he wouldn't comment on the future, nothing. He was like, I'm still going to show up to work until I'm told not to. So
Listen, I always thought the person Todd Bowles was always a decent dude. I didn't think he was that great of a coach. It's one of those rare cases where didn't they win the division like 3 or 4 straight?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible if they let him go after a season where he still had a winning record and barely missed being getting into the playoffs. Now, listen, that NFC South has not been good for a very long time.
no,
So let's be real. You know, he could be that could have been a victim of circumstance thing, and everyone saw right through it. But I mean, listen, he that would be a pretty tough out. You take your team to 4 straight divisions, and now you're out. You know, because you lost the last week of the. If he well, let me ask you this: if they ended up getting into the playoffs, is there any chance he gets fired?
I don't think so. I mean, you could look at his age and be like, he's turning 63 next year. It's like he's coming to the end, sort of. Um, if anything, I think they would retain him but get rid of a lot of his staff. But would a guy like Bowles want to come back to this team with a totally new staff, given his age? It's like, does he really want
I
to do that?
I don't think he's getting another head coaching. I could be wrong. I would think this would be his last head coaching gig once he gets fired.
Yeah, I agree.
If and when.
By the way, Raheem Morris got fired like literally an hour after that Saints Falcons game, so it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. He's my top pick for defensive coordinator for the Jets, but that's just me. I don't think he would. Excuse me. I don't think he would take that role, but
The
love
the
for a guy
other
like that.
the other rumor that I heard about, and I don't know how realistic it even would be is if we did let Engstrand go, if we signed Gannon to
Mm.
be the offensive coordinator and traded for Kyler.
Ooh, that's an interesting move.
That would be an interesting little
That's a
tea leaf.
radical move.
Well, dude, I'm not listen, and I'm not even saying that that's something that I'd want, but at the end of the day, it's a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
Same way we might get another Stranger Things episode. Like we'll file that in the same. Oh, it could happen,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't think that's very likely. Listen, I wouldn't mind Gannon as an offensive coordinator. But listen, we're talking about a guy that like we're talking about a coordinator role that isn't necessarily up for grabs, like at this point. But yeah, listen, Morris would be a good defensive coordinator. That wouldn't be bad. You know who else I wouldn't mind bringing in?
Who?
Wink Martindale. He was defensive. He was. I think you said it last. I think you said it last week. I've
I
warmed
said it
up
on
to that a little
episode
bit
one.
more.
I've been on him since the inception of this pod. It'd be great to have a guy like that. And you know what's funny? Connor Hughes actually tweeted, "You know who an underrated player, underrated DC candidate would be Wink Martindale." I retweeted it. And I was like, "We've been on him. We've been on him." So
Well, not only that though, dude, but like he he was the DC of Michigan this year. Like
yeah.
you don't want to stay around in that mess, that aftermath. Like
Mhm.
he's got to get out of there. So it very easily could happen.
Mhm. This just in. So Muji had, I guess, an interview this morning. He said in the presser that the Jets intend to exhaust every option to retain running back Brees Hall, which would keep a backfield featuring Hall, Braylon Allen, and Isaiah Davis intact. The team has already re-signed center Josh Myers and is hopefully retaining at least one of John Simpson or Elijah Barrett Tucker. With Olo Fashanu, Armand Membo, and Joe Tippmann also in place, the line projects as a strength, obviously. If Fashanu and Membo develop as expected, the Jets could field one of the league's better units, a rarity in recent franchise history. Let's see. Receiver depth still needs attention. The Jets require a number 2 and number 3 target, but with roughly $74 million in projected cap space, that's a lot of cap space, and an extra first-round pick, assuming they select a quarterback at number 2, and 2 second-round selections, they have ample resources to address it. Good. Any additions would join Pro Bowl receiver Garrett Wilson, along with young options such as A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie III. The tight end room, featuring Mason Taylor and Jeremy Ruckert, offers developmental upside, so you referenced that earlier. Let's see what they say about the quarterback. Hold on. Other quarterback-needy teams, including the Raiders, Browns, and Cardinals, can't offer that same combination. The same goes for the Dolphins in a trade-up scenario. History has earned Jets fans their skepticism. Caution is justified. There's no guarantee the franchise will finally get the quarterback decision right, but the environment is different. Okay, so we have an ecosystem, right? We just need to hit on the pick or trade for one. Bring a guy. Bring Lamar Jackson, damn it!
The problem you have in a scenario like that is you're going to have to give up so much, I feel like. I feel like if you're going to make the move, the reason why I think Kyler would be appealing is because it probably wouldn't take as much. I know it wouldn't take as much as, say, a guy like Joe Burrow, but even the same as Lamar. Like, you might be able to pick swap with Arizona and make that the basis of your deal, along with maybe, another piece, maybe just smaller. The other thing the Jets have too that's a little underrated, that second round pick, they have the first pick in the second round as of right now. So if you really want to, you have the capital to move up and get another guy in the first round if you really wanted to move back in.
I wouldn't hate that option.
So you have, listen, you're right. They have a ton of capital right now. They have free agency money. I hate that people feel like, the Jets need to pay the Jets tax because they're a bad team. They have to overpay for a player just to bring him in. And when it's a guy like Alan Lazard. It's not a guy that's like in his prime that, like a Brandon Marshall or like the rare like Eric Decker signing. A guy that still had something left in the tank that still was a very good player. But listen, I mean, you have the money. Do you want you want to risk bringing a guy like George Pickens in to be the 2? Do you do you want to wait until some of these teams cut players as cap casualty type hits and see what shakes loose and sign those types of guys?
I would personally want to draft a receiver and then trade for a quarterback. That's just the way I would do it. I mean, you look at guys like, obviously Lamar it has been for years, the guy I've wanted, right? Referencing the last game, Ravens-Steelers. Obviously, they lose in heartbreaking fashion due to a missed field goal. And you had comments in the Baltimore Sun saying, oh, Lamar Jackson, he needs to grow up. Do you think he put on a grown man performance in that game? I for sure thought he did.
That throw to Flowers?
Yeah, I was just about to say, look, how many third and shorts did they have where Lamar was like, okay, we need 4, right? Let me just chuck it downfield to Zay Flowers, where they're just not even putting a guy within 30 feet of him. He's just throwing 40, 50-yard bombs to this dude. That's what I love about Lamar. He doesn't care how short he needs to go. If he wants, he can throw it 40, 50 yards downfield and make a game-changing play like that. There's other guys like Brady Cook and all the Jets quarterbacks that they've had the last 10 years who are only fighting to get that 4 yards for the first down. Or if they're third and long, they're going to throw it into the flat and hope for the receiver to get 15 yards. It's like, I love guys quarterbacks that take chances like Lamar.
It's a gift and a curse, though, right? Because anything less than 6 yards, you feel like you could convert every single time.
Right. That is true.
So listen, I get it. I get the talent, but I've listen. We went over it. That show might be nearing its end. And listen, I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight, but all he needs to do is lose a half a step and just not quite as dynamic as he was before. And I don't know if he's shown me enough as like growth wise as a passer or as someone that's able to really read a defense. And let's see what happens with Harbaugh. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if one if one of the two of them ends up leaving that team, that there was some smoke, there was some fire with that smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and then at that point, maybe it's true. Maybe Lamar wants to spend more time playing video games than he does like being dedicated to being a quarterback.
But hey,
Like,
he went out there and put it all on the line. I'm actually proud of the way he played in that last game. He's obviously hurt. Brought him back to save the season. I mean, he went 19 of 35, 219 passing yards. He also had a decent ground game, 7 carries, 43 yards. I mean, Derrick Henry, obviously the workhorse, getting 94 yards rushing. Had a couple of big plays there, but Zay Flowers, just like him and Lamar, it's just a 1-2 punch, man. But he impressed me. I feel like he needed a bounce back game, regardless of the result. Right? I think that was a good bounce back game for him. Um, I feel like a lot of fans would be very upset if they weren't able to retain him next year.
listen, I think you should be. Once again, if I was a Ravens fan, I wouldn't want to lose Lamar.
Right.
You see what else is out there. Look at our situation just as a perfect example. And yes, at the end of the day, would Lamar be the most talented quarterback that we'd have on our roster in the past
Ever.
50 years, maybe since Namath? Yeah. But at the end of the day, also, like I said, I think I'd just rather build something from the ground up with a young guy. That's just a philosophy more so than anything else. Do I think we are a better football team if we had Lamar Jackson on the roster? 100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. But then you're gonna play a certain style of football with him that I don't necessarily know is like Jets football.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
but then again, what is Jets football right now other than losing?
They don't have an
So
identity. That's
no,
the biggest overarching
they don't have a
theme.
defense. They don't have an offense. It looks like they tried to drift more towards offense. Like, and if you look at the pieces on the roster, I would say that the offense is better than the defense as of right now. Just
It's
for,
pathetic.
without a quarterback, I understand that. But how crazy is that to say?
Yeah. It's a tough thing to say when the team is averaging 10 points or less in the last 5-6 games. But yeah, the offense right now looks better than the defense. I think we're gonna call it here. We just hit the hour mark. Episode 5. Put a lid on it. I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Make sure you leave a like, comment. If you disagree with something, we want to hear your opinion. If you want to see something more or less, definitely let us know. We're definitely open to feedback. You have any last words, Justin?
No, I hope we have a little bit more to talk about. Maybe Yankees
Yeah, I
next
want some
time that we.
baseball news, man.
I'm craving for it, but it's as we've seen right now, it's been a really really slow off season, and just really really quickly, very briefly, like didn't Joel Sherman say something to the effect of the Yankees are waking up? Well, looks like they went right back to bed.
Yeah.
Like I'm not seeing anything right now.
All I've been seeing is they've checked in with this guy. They've checked it. What does that even mean? According to sources, who, by the way, they never mention the sources. It's always they checked in.
I mean, is that like what we do with Facebook and like we could check into a place? Is that
Yeah.
is that like
Yeah. I might check into Texas Roadhouse in a little bit. I don't know.
Well,
I'm hungry as hell. Yeah.
well, we could check out of here and we'll check in. We'll check in somewhere else. But nah, dude, like and follow,
Yes, sir.
and happy and healthy New Year to everyone,
Absolutely.
each and every one of
Can
our
we stop
listeners.
saying Happy New Year? It's already January 6th.
All right, Larry.
According
David,
to Larry
like,
David,
cool
after
it,
the
cool.
30th, that's it. I appreciate your sentiments. All right,
Well,
y'all,
we
we're
had to
out.
say it at some point. I wanted to say it the side. Like, all right, that'll be
Okay.
the last broadcast. I say Happy New Year.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right.
All right, we're out, y'all. Peace and love.